in the pandemic to help the common people?
I think every time you bring a smile on a needy face, I think there can't be anything more special than that. And the trust, the faith, the responsibility that every individual puts on your shoulders keeps you motivated, that inspires you to work hard, but there can't be anything more special than that, yes.
Healthcare warriors of India, doctors, nurses, ambulance drivers, ASHA workers have been working tirelessly to mitigate COVID. How can a common citizen help these frontline workers to save more lives?
I think it's very important to take that responsibility on your shoulders. You always say, this job has to be done by a minister or an MLA or a doctor or any healthcare worker. But I think we all need to act and we need to take their responsibility so that we can work together and make this world a better place to live in. But I think it's everyone has to act like a healthcare worker.
Doctors, nurses, and other caregivers have been battling this disease and saving lives for the past year and a half. How can we as citizens help them, and how can we thank them as individuals?
Gosh, I think what the entire medical fraternity has done for us, being so unconditional and selfless, putting people before themselves and their own families, is just something that I can't express enough gratitude for. Really, I just my heart goes out to them and their families, because I think they've really had the worst of it, but I have so much gratitude in my heart for all that they've done for us, that I think that it's our turn now to make sure that we don't make it difficult or more difficult for them. We have to take precautionary measures, we have to follow rules, please don't flout them, please wear a mask, sanitize, make sure that we make it easier on them, and don't get admitted just because you've been diagnosed with COVID. Treat yourself, stay quarantined at home, but it starts from the very first basic thing to do, follow the rules. And that's it. Keep sanitizing and wear the mask, because I really believe that the mask is your first vaccine.
You saw the impact of COVID-19 up close. It must have been a harrowing time, and yet you and your close ones battled through. How did you manage to keep your calm during such a stressful situation? And what advice would you give to families unfortunate enough to go through similar situation? What would be your advice to all Indian citizens?
Out of sheer experience, I'd only like to say and share what I went through and how I dealt with it. I can understand it must be very distressing for families who go through COVID. We went through that stress and anxiety as well. But I think the reason we came out of it much sooner than a lot of people that I've understood out of my experience is that we caught it way early and we treated it. And hence, I think people have always said precaution is better than cure, where it brings us back to the subject of immunity and how to stay fit. And I think all of us are people who are very conscientious in my home about fitness and about health in general. So making sure of things like how to strengthen our immunity. Obviously, even before we came down with COVID, we had made sure that we all have Giloy, and we turn to Ayurveda, we turn to yoga for pranayama to make sure that all of us combat the stress in a better, more holistic way. And I think the one thing that also worked in our favor, and I'd like to share this with you through this platform, is that fear shouldn't get the better of you. And I really think that worked in all our favor. There was not an iota of doubt ever that we would be able to get over it. And thankfully, despite the fact that we had nearly 11 members in our household that had COVID at the same time, we were able to come out of it smoothly and recuperated rather well in comparison to a lot of other people. I think that is the only advice that I would like to give people, that that in times like this, we really need to take precautionary measures, make sure that we have control over our health, and that can happen when we have control over our breath. So please turn to pranayama, turn to yoga. It's never too late, and don't let fear get the better of you. And yes, regarding nutrition, that is really an important aspect of health. So don't underestimate that. And sleep, of course. Make sure you have enough of that, because that really helps you help over the stress, regeneration of your cells, and definitely puts you in better health. So yes, that comes straight from the horse's mouth, out of sheer experience, and I tell you that these few tips will really help you combat COVID. And yes, more importantly, last but not the least, stay positive.
Thank you so very much. Those were some fantastic, heartfelt messages from our celebrities there. So like Ms. Shetty said in the end, stay positive in thoughts, and it's that what's going to take us forward. And here we're all set to once again bring to you our inspiring doctors. The Economic Times Doctors Day Conclave 2021 is so very special for so many reasons. Yet another salute to our doctors as we once again unfold and unveil to you the Economic Times Doctors Coffee Table Book.